Hello, everyone. In today's video, I want to cover a concept that many people talk about, but no one really gives a fleshed out concept for it that I've seen, and that's the idea of a boost course pass 2, which is an intriguing one, and I don't think it's going to happen personally, but I think it'd be fun to craft a boost course pass 2, like an ideal one, like how I do it, basically. Not being particularly realistic, but if we do another 48 tracks, also we have 8 battle courses. We doubled the battle course selection because they can't just focus on just race tracks when there's only 8 battle courses, which isn't like a bad amount. It's the second most in the series, but it should be the most in the series, if you know what I mean. And with Tor having battle mode, which is Tor's battle mode is dog shit, but presumably they'll add more battle tracks. That can help Linus because there's a lot of Tor stuff to still pull from. And yeah, I think there is potential for this Musicals Pass 2 thing to be a real one. I don't see it happening, but there's definitely a chance. There's definitely a chance because you're basically leaving money on the table. I mean, it's such a popular game, and they probably made millions just off of the DLC, which, of course, effort has definitely gone into the DLC, but of course they have a lot of the groundwork because they have the tour tracks and stuff, and that mobile game and they're really working hand in hand. Money, Nintendo, you will make money. Just give us more stuff, and I think this one they could increase the price a bit. I don't know to what extent. I'm like $30, let's say, ish. I say that because they'll parse characters from the start. Well, the system I'm going with is as a character per wave. I'll get into why. Because we're doing 6 characters again. But on top of this, because I feel like if you did another DLC, you've got to focus on some other things. I first will add 2 items. They could add more because there's a lot of tour items, although they'd probably be like completely separate to program and take Deluxe. But I will focus on 2 specifically because I think there's 2 that would actually fit in the Mario Kart meta. Whereas any other items you add, they kind of just be like a custom item only thing, which there's a lot of potential in that, but you don't necessarily need to add it because it's not going to be in the core gameplay, so yeah. The other thing is vehicle parts. In terms of this car customization, I'm frozen, and you get 1 of each per wave. 1 car, 1 bike, 1 set of tyres, and 1 glider. And yeah, I'll cover it all in the end. Although tyres don't have much specific ones because there's only actually 1 missing in 8 Deluxe. Well, technically 2. There's the red monster tyres, but there's the funky monster ones. So it doesn't really. It's the monster tyres but orange, so rather than red. So it would be unnecessary to have the red monster, even though they're pretty iconic with Mario Kart 7. But the monster tyres aren't in the 8 Deluxe meta anyway. So yeah. We'll focus on these tracks first, and then we'll get all the other stuff, battle tracks included. But I will go with the characters as we go along here because they are important to. So I'll go in each one, and you may be wondering why there's only 3 tracks in each one. And basically, my idea is, presumably, if you would continue, that means you have more tour content, which would mean more Tour City tracks, which I feel it'd be strange if they stopped doing the City and New tracks when the 8 Deluxe DLC is over. But at the same time, it makes sense because you don't want more content that would be inaccessible in 8 Deluxe. Because clearly, with the amount of Tour City tracks and all the new tracks, it suggests that one of the main points of the DLC is just to represent all those tracks. If we do have more City tracks, then that's probably going to fuel the theories of another boost course pass. And this hypothetical scenario is getting it from years 2024 to 2025. So right after wave 6, they just say, we're going to do this again for another 2 years. And everyone's happy, everyone wins. So yeah, I've noticed they do like about like 3 city tracks per year in tour. That's what they've been doing ish. That's not exact, but let's say for this day it will be. So this means we get 1 city per wave, not per cup. I mean, we have plenty of tour city tracks anyway. We have 14, 6 more, you get 20. It seems reasonable, and the reason why other cups are also free, just 3 tracks, is because everything ends on a nitro track. Each nitro track is based on the character that goes in the wave. So yeah, that's why. And usually it's the first track of the first cup, and then the last track of the second cup. That's the Tour City track, and then the Nitro track. Well, first let's cover what we're saying comes in Wave 6, because obviously we don't have Wave 6 yet. And so we've got a Madrid track and Rome Brandy. And by the way, I'm not going to predict the city tracks, I'm just going to say that there. I'll give some ideas for the new tracks, though. But with cities, I'm not really interested. Just it have real life locations. You can just pick whatever. That's how I see it. I don't think it especially matters. Piranha Plant Cove, Piranha Plant Pipeline, GTM Mushroom Bridge, which I don't even know if that's actually coming. Just swap it round with whatever's in this if you're watching after Wave 6. GCN DK Mountain, SNES Battle Castle 3, and Wing Rain Road. And the characters I'm going to say are Diddy Kong and Paulie. Again, I don't know for sure. I probably that's the most likely situation. But I don't know at this point. But yeah, let's just go with that for the sake of this video. Let's start off with the Mega Cup here. You have a city track, and then, like with Wave 1, we're going to call these Waves 7 to 12. So this is Wave 7. You have a double dash track. You have a circuit track. And this is probably my favourite one that's not in the game. GCN Luigi Circuit. The connected paths make it quite stand out. It's simple, like a circuit track would be, but it's a stand-up gimmick. And when you have so many courses, you might as well have it. Which, by the way, after all this, we are only missing 19 tracks and like 16 like variations, like the 1, 2, 3, you know, all that stuff. So you basically all the tracks, and I just had to cut certain ones. I made it difficult because, you know, I don't have many options, so it's kind of a lapse in variety. I try not to have that occur, but it probably will. You'll probably notice it. Then you have GK Jungle Parkway. I'm not too crazy about this course, but I think it's a pretty popular N64 one. Could be a good Wave 7 here. And then end the cup on Delfino Square, a fan favorite TS track. And yeah, I mean, they say my argument for why I wasn't TLC was, it blends with the city themes, but now I got Moonview Highways. So yeah, it doesn't matter. And we don't have as many city tracks regardless. Which is why you'll find out Mushroom Cities in this later on. We had a Hammer Cup. Again, we are actually opening with retro tracks this time. So start with Cheap Cheap Island. It's already in tour. It's one people thought would actually be in Wave 4. No one was really sure what the GBA track would be in Wave 4. I think I made the right choice for Riverside Park. I think a good GBA Bowser's Castle would have made more sense at the time, but we're getting SNES Bowser's Castle free, clearly. So, yeah. There will be no GBA Bowser's Castle. I know it's kind of retro track tradition, but you have the SNES one. No point, really, in my opinion. So, yeah, Cheap Cheap Island. Then you got Vanilla Lake 1. There's only 2 SNES tracks here. We're cutting Cooper Beach and Ghost Valley, and that's just because they have the themes just come in other tracks. N64 Cooper Trooper Beach and Boo Lake. Well, there's Banshee Boardwalk in this one, but I think that's a boardwalk track that has at least a bit more going on. It'll stand out. And even then, I could probably replace that for another track. But my idea here would be, because they're very basic. The tour remakes, they're very, very, very basic, and the layout's nothing crazy. We're going, and because there's not much tour like track representation, not as much at least. My suggestion is you take these 2 SNES tracks, and you show off the remix version, so all the ramp stuff. And I think Vanilla Lake 1's a really good one, the best of the remix ones, because it feels like such a natural glow up. I like the glide ramp with the water geysers. I think it's quite a cool track, actually, and I think it makes people like Vanilla Lake a lot more, especially in the context of, well, we're getting 48 more tracks, so Vanilla Lake, it's a fine pick, right? Then you got Wario Shipyard, and I have a cup called the Thunder Cup, and I think about it, I could have probably replaced some of the 3DS tracks in this one. Doesn't matter. I just also went with Warriors Galleon, which is the better name, but we're going to do US names here, I guess. And then to end it is, because this is the Hammer Cup, we will have the, like this Hammer Bro, like workshop where these Hammer Bros are working. This like factory thing, I don't know the specifics for, but it'll be something like that. And damn it, yes, Hammer Bro would be coming to the DLC. I think he's a great pick. You can have all the bros as the alts, because there's 4 of them in total. Yeah, I think this would be a great addition. Also, Mega Cups. So, I don't know when they'd be added. And I have like the Thunder Cup, the Thunder card, which I don't want in 8 Deluxe anyway, so I'm not even saying to add that. But if I were to pick 2, I think it's because there's 2 missing slots in the custom item thing. I had the Mega Mushroom and the fake item box, because I think they blend best for the meta, honestly. Mega Mushroom's a bit strong, but I mean, it's pretty cool. And I think there's a lot of counts to it. I think you could incorporate Tor's idea, where if you're hit with the Mega Mushroom, if you just shrink again. I think that's a good way to balance it. So I think that'd be a welcome addition to just the regular game, not even like as a custom exclusive item. That's what I'm thinking with these 2. The fake iron box obviously harms, it's more of a defense tool. So that one would be fine to add, as long as you make the distribution like proper. And Mega Mushroom, like yeah, it just needs to like tweak it a bit, I guess. But I think they'd fit, like how 8 Deluxe just added the Boo item into the regular game, and that fit in really well. So yeah, if I were to pick 2 items, it would be those. And moving on to Wave 8. Here we have the Coin Cup and the Crown Cup. So the Coin Cup, again, City Track opens it. Then you have Koopa Troopa Beach, and then you have DK Pass. I know you have DK Summit, but I feel like Pass still stand out enough. When you have this many tracks, right, and you don't have many options, I think this one can be added. I mean, it's in Tour anyway. It's a popular DS track, not too popular. I think it's really good. I was actually hoping this being the DLC originally, but Summit's the better pick, even though I actually think Pass is a better track, or I did until the 8 Deluxe version. So I'd welcome it regardless. And yeah, you end the cup with a bang. Wario Coliseum finally getting added. I think everyone, like, that's like a must-have. If you're doing even more DLC, you can't just ignore Wario Coliseum again. And at the Crown Cup, and this is for Honey Queen. The icon would be like her crown, basically. And it's the time with the Special Cup. I mean, the tracks here are nothing like the Special Cup, because I'd rather it be the winter tracks, the end of year. Tracks that have like the Rainbow Roads and whatnot. But I think it would be like a fun little thing to mirror with the Special Cup crown. As well as also the Thunder Cup, because that mirrors like the Lightning Cup. So yeah, here we got Honey Queen, but adding the other princesses: Daisy Circuit, Peach Beach, Rosalina's Ice World, all the other princess stuff, which wasn't even intentional until like I was trying to find a place to slot, and I was like, okay. The only problem is there's 2 beach tracks in a wave, and again, that's what I mean by theming or overlapping. I tried not to, but there's a lot of desert and beach tracks, like a surprising amount. Again, this is kind of on the more simple side for quite a few of these tracks, but I mean, again, there's not many options. So, and I think if you were doing more DLC, you probably want to focus on having a lot of retros. But yeah, the end track with be like, I can't remember what the Galaxy's called, but the one that Honey Queen's on in Galaxy, based on that, I think people would very much like that as a new track. And Honey Queen, I know she's not especially popular, but I think, you've got all the other princesses, and you got the Parasol, which would change purple for her. That's a very small detail, but I think that would be a nice touch to bring her back for that. And also, it ties into a battle track I have. We'll get to the battle tracks after. And it completes the Mario Kart 7 roster. She's the only one missing. And that's for most Double Dash games where they're missing. Not Double Dash? I have Double Dash on my mind because I'm trying to think of Paratrooper. Most games, in terms of the character roster, we're on 8 Deluxe, they're all just missing like one character. And I kind of want to fill that in, except Donkey Kong Jr. We don't need him back. I'm sorry. I feel like it's kind of like erasure, but no one cares. No one cares, dude. And I even Talkers have to had like a modernized version of him, and he's like stuck in the 90s. So yeah, I'm not having him. But Honey Queen, out there pick, has like a legacy being in 7. So yeah, I'd welcome her. Moving on to the next wave, we have the Tropical Cup, and because it's raining on the last one, we swapped the city and the new track placement. So the new track's actually in the Top Cup. And the main reason I called this, I set up for Tropical because I thought I was the least on those one. And I mean, I guess it's tied into the fact that, you're being a character per wave, but they tie into a cup name, then aren't people going to figure out quickly? And so maybe they keep the cup name secret until the wave. That's something that I think they had, because we know all the cups from wave 1 in original Vusicles past. Maybe they could change that. Or don't. I don't think it particularly matters, so I think that's something worth keeping in mind. Just so I thought it was the cool cup or whatever. This is the Funky Kong Cup, basically. I was just calling the Funky Cup, but yeah, I thought it was a little too on your nose. But yeah, you start with Luigi's Mansion. You're on Cheap Cheap Lagoon. I don't know. I probably should swap them around. I feel like Cheap Cheap Lagoon should probably start the cup instead. But yeah, Dino Jungle, again, great track. I would hope it's in Wave 6, actually, but I don't know much. I'm not holding on to much hope for it. And then it ends with Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, whatever the fuck it's called, Donkey Kong Country. I don't know the Donkey Kong stuff. Just do a Donkey Kong Homage track. Just do it. And everyone will be happy. And yeah, Shine Cup, you have a city track. Then you have Warrior Stadium, which is a dog shit track. It's fucking awful. There's a reason it's the one N64 track that hasn't been remade. But it is the one N64 track that has not been remade. And that's why it's here. You have the S Warrior Stadium. There's just there's so many tracks that you can just have a second Warrior Stadium. And then finally people shut the fuck about how it's never been remade. Like, why do you care about N64 Warrior Stadium? I don't get it. We're throwing it in. And I put it here in this cup because I feel like they'd have to give it like a huge glow up to justify its presence. Because it's a disgusting track. It's fucking agony. Like, this track alone contributes to my opinion that Mario Kart 64 is the worst Mario Kart. It's fucking painful to drive on. But yeah, Bowser's Castle 3DS. This might upset people, but I think 3DS Bowser's Castle is actually really fucking good. And it's probably one of the more standout ones for this game. Because we're bringing back more Bowser's Castles. We're going to have 4. We're going to do another one at the end. And you can make an argument for more, because I think there's a lot of good ones. And probably like the best tracks that will be absent from this are Bowser Castle ones, but I don't want to like force feed fucking Bowser Castles. That feels lazy. Maybe 3DS one will be more standout. And also, I didn't realize this, but I've covered all the 3DS tracks in this DLC. All the 3DS tracks are there. Call that bias or whatever. But the thing with the 3DS tracks is they all stand out on their own. There's no like repeats and themes really, or if there is, and they still stand out on their own. I guess because they're more recent tracks. and also because a lot of them that have tracks on this, they're just circuit ones. And the only missing 3DS circuit track, because I only had two, is Mario Circuit 3DS, and that's the best Mario circuit. At least in terms of theming, because you're going to Peach's Castle. So people will be open for that. So I figured, yeah, you can get all the 3DS tracks and you complete the 3DS roster. You've got like an entire game represented in this game. I think that's just a really cool thing. I know Mario Kart Wii's very close to being that, but I mean, no one wants Wii Luigi Circuit. No one really wants Wii Mario Circuit. Wii Mario Circuit's fine. Wii Luigi Circuit is fucking shit. But so yeah. And Wee's Bowser's Castle isn't in this. I'm sorry. That's just because, I mean, 8 already does the theme of a big Bowser statue, so I don't feel it would stand out. So yeah. Then you have Rainbow Road DS. No, I'm not. Even though I'm a DS kid, I'm not too crazy about this Rainbow Road. But I mean, you have it's anti-grav for those anti-grav, but the little loops you can make them anti-grav. So I think there's potential there. So yeah. As for the box cup, just item box, and I tie into the theme because Toad's factory is closing the cup, and that is and that factory seems to make item boxes, which is a cool little thing. But yeah, after stage rank, we get another stage rank, the third and final one. I don't want to have more than 3, even though there's not many options. I don't want to force feed more circuit tracks. But yeah, Mario Circuit 3DS, I think it's a good one. Frappe Snowland, we have GBA Snowland, but I think this one still stands out. I think it's in tour. I quite like this one on DS, it's very simple. I think they need to fix the out of bounds stuff because they don't have fences. Instead of fences, they just have like this big open valley of snow. But if you go too far into it, you're out of bounds because they don't want like super cuts. And I was like, okay, fine. But have a fence to indicate how far I can fucking go. Maybe the tour version has that. I don't know. I haven't really seen it. But yeah, on Toad's Factory, this is a fan favorite Wii track, which is just not in sight. It's not in tour. I don't bring it up. It's weird. It's forgotten. It's so strange. But I mean, here's the thing. After Booster Course Pass 1, you run Mr. Drydo Ruins and Toad's Factory, which are 2 great tracks. Those, and then you just have like circuit tracks and then a Bowser Castle. So these are the only 2 unique theme ones. So it's quite easy to rep all the Wii ones that matter. I'm sorry. I mean, we have Wii Daisy Circuit as well, because I think that's a pretty good circuit track. I don't think that's a hot take. So yeah. The Bob-omb Cup, and King Bob-omb's coming in this one. And I was trying to make a comment, like, oh, Bob-ombs, because they're an item. That's such a simple one. I'm surprised that wasn't even done in the first Booster Course Pass. So yeah. Yoshi Falls. A simple one to open things off. Then you got the remix Choco Island 1, and I only picked 1 just particularly because 2's been remade, so I mix it up, I guess. And then you have Shy Guy Bazaar. I love this one. It's one I was hoping would be in the Booster Course Pass 1, and I was like, well, I guess it's technically another city track, so I guess that's why it's not in it. Then they added Move You Fucking Highway. I still can't get over that. But yeah, it ends on a King Bomb theme track, and I can't think of anything better than a 3-section track going through a remake of Bob-omb Battlefield. You start in like the battlefield area, you go up the bridge, meet the chain chomp. Like it is just a racetrack if you've scaled it right. Yeah, you could make like a really faithful version of it, just as a racetrack. And then it ends where you're going up the hill, you get to the top of the mountain, and you might have like a little King Bob-omb up there and might like explode or some shit. I don't know. I think it would just be a really fun track idea. And King Bob-omb is a super cool character. I'd love to have him in Mario Kart. But yeah, it makes sense why he's not in Booster Course Pass 1, because he is a very out there character. But man, I love him. Like Honey Queen and King Bob-omb, those are 2 very fun characters, like just very random but notable characters from 3D Mario games. I respect it. Moving on to the next wave. We're here on wave 11 now, and I I think I messed up the order again. Okay, so firstly, Rainbow GBA looks like that because the TLS I used like forgot to add it, and I can't like scale the image correctly. So yeah, we'll get to that. Falcon Cup, and this is not the order it should be. Desert Hills should definitely come before Ash Fortress. And now I'm looking at Daisy Hills and Desert Hills. We've got a clash in themes here. Desert Hills was one that I was really struggling to find a place for. I mean, there's literally dry ruins here. So yeah, I don't know if this is the best pick, but I mean, it shouldn't be the third track of this cup. I'd move it to second or first. Again, this is actually, because there's a Rainbow Road here, this is actually the first one of this is where the new character, the new track is featured, the Falcon Cup. Okay. Yeah, I rearranged it. I put Desert Hills second. That was probably a mistake. I did this last night, and I reviewed it. I went over it, and I've completely missed that. But yeah, there's definitely a clash there with Dry Rooms and Desert Hills, which, as I said, that was a big struggle with all the desert and beach tracks. Because I think they're all pretty good, and I didn't really want to erase some. Because I think Desert Hills is sort of second chance, especially when you can have like some underwater sections or whatnot. I think there's some potential there. Also, yeah, it's 2DS tracks actually. Desert Hill should be in somewhere else. Okay, I will concede that. It does not fit in this wave at all. But basically, the end one would be another F-Zero track, which, you know, there's enough tracks to spare one. And then you add Captain Falcon. And I don't know shit about F-Zero, which is why I'm not proposing a specific track. And I don't give a fuck about Captain Falcon, but it makes no sense why he's not in the game when his car from the F-Zero games is in the game, and you've got two very popular F-Zero tracks that are in 8 Deluxe. There is no reason why Captain Falcon shouldn't be one of the guest characters. You know, and I think we have plenty of Mario Kart characters repped here. And that does bring into another thing. I guess you could do it in the previous wave because Toad's Factory. But add the different Toad colours that we keep seeing in the background, and add the Koopa colours, including like a blue shell Koopa, and just add like Paratrooper as an option. I know Paratrooper. Actually, I don't even think Paratrooper in GCN in DoorDash did have unique animations, but Paratrooper's not worth like an individual DLC slot. But I think he should still be repped as like an alt for Koopa Trooper. And then you have all the DoorDash characters. So then you have all the characters from every game except like Donkey Kong Jr., which feels like an anomaly, but it's Donkey Kong Jr. We can let that slide. I feel we just forget about him. Just forget about him. I think. Like I'd probably take him over Captain Falcon personally, but Captain Falcon just makes sense. And Thundercuff, which is much better structured than this shit. I figured, okay, we want to do Rainbow Road, GBA Rainbow Road for this. So this is the reason it's called Thunder Cup. But we don't want it at the end. We want to do like an SCS Rainbow Road slot. So we put in the second one after the city track. Then you have Dry Rooms and end it on a Woohoo track. Which I feel like I could have put a Woohoo track in wave 1 and then swapped it. This is why I would have swapped the Wario Shipyard. Basically, I would have just fucking changed the order for this wave, honestly. Regardless, I'm happy with the picks. But yeah, you could definitely tweak the order. It's quite hard to figure it out. But yeah, Ash Fortress fan favorite one. Dry Room is pretty popular. Woohoo, another fan favorite. DS track, 3DS track. And people want GBA Rainbow Road. And I wouldn't include it if it wasn't the only absent Rainbow Road. Because there's only 3 left to include, you know. So you might as well say, hey, we have every Rainbow Road in this game. Moving on to the last wave here. We have Mushroom City, home the Mecha Cup. The Mecha Cup, another new one. And I wasn't sure on the name. Rob's coming, and I feel like I kind of revealed that by saying, well, we're wrapping every character from each game except Donkey Kong Jr. because no one cares about him. Well, yeah, I guess you could. If you want to be specific, then trade Captain Falcon for him, is what I would do. But yeah, there's just better characters than Donkey Kong Jr. He's just bland. He's just another Kong. Dixie Kong, you'd have over him anyway if you needed another Kong character. But yeah, Mecha Cup, because I mean, you got like stuff like Mecha Koopa, There's like Mecha Wiggler. There's a bunch of stuff. That's what they usually refer to their robots as. So yeah, I feel we called that for the Rob Cup. So on Mushroom Sea, which I mean has like a metallic like caterpillar cart. So yeah, Yoshi Desert, kind of random one, but it fits. Mushroom Sea only comes before it because I mean it's like kind of like, hey, look, the city tracks, they start waves, they start cups. So yeah, I feel we do that. And then you have the other Woohoo track, Woohoo Mountain, and then you end it on, I don't know, I because I mean it's Rob, right? And Rob's just a toy. And Rob's not really in a universe or anything. I think you could like solidify Rob being like a Mario universe character because he fits. And I feel like if you like when you grew up with Mario Kart DS, you just always assumed he was just a Mario character, just a really obscure one that they threw in. But no, he's not. But he really does fit with Mario Kart. And yeah, I think you have like some like robot. I don't know. I was going to say Robot Factory, but we've got Toad Factory, we have the Harborough Workshop. So there might be a clash in themes. I don't know. Something robot related, okay? I had no ideas for that one. But Rainbow Cup, Banshee Boardwalk, kind of random one, but yeah, I wasn't sure where to put it. And also as far as City Track, I have a specific idea for this city. Rainbow City. That's my idea. And it could be like the city in N64 Rainbow Road. It could tie into that. I think that'd be very cool to have like a original city location. Another idea I had was have Rainbow City and then have the other two Rainbow Roads in this cup. But again, just separating by waves. So logically, you don't want to just like clusterfuck all the same themes together at once. That's why we try to spread them out. So yeah. Bowser Castle DS, that is such a fucking underrated Bowser Castle. It should be in. And then GameCube Rain Road. I feel it's the most standout one of the three that won't be in the game after the original Booster Skills Pass, so I feel it should end it. Because it's called a road, it's called Rainbow Road. That's the track. So yeah, I think it's a decent selection. If you are concerned, here are the tracks. I'm missing 16 variants of SNES tracks plus 3 UA Bowser Castles. There was stuff that I could probably swap around. Like, I could have, like, N64 Sherbet Land over Banshee Boardwalk. Doesn't really matter, but I feel like N64 Sherbet Land's shit. Like, it's one that you can't really, like, remake in any way to make it much better. Outside, just make the controls less annoying. It's just very dull, and we also have GCN Sherbet Land, but they do feel quite different. So, yeah. Moo Moo Farm, it's just an oval. And of course, we have Moo Moo Meadows. Even though I do think they're quite different. We had one DS track mission, we had like Figure 8 Circuit, and I was considering, just add it because 8. That's always been kind of thing with that track. It's like, add it because it's got 8 in it. But also, it's Figure 8 Circuit. I did a whole video on how to fix Figure 8 Circuit, but I was like turning into like some crazy 3-section track where you're going like the garage area and you're going to like the crowd and shit. And if I was proposing that, I'd probably take out like Desert Hills maybe to have it in the DLC. But yeah, I feel like it's an unrealistic thing to say, just complete revamp a track like that because they've never done that. But Figure 8 Circuit, if they brought it back, it's one that kind of warrants it. But yeah, a lot of good Bowser Castle, like N64 Bowser Castle, that's probably the one that's like why I didn't include this one. I just don't think there's a place for it. It was the one 3D Bowser Castle that was remade before as well. I also kind of want a GBA Shy Guy Beach in here. I do actually like it, but yeah. And I know there's a lot of GBA tracks, but I mean, we already had like 8. I know there's more than the usual one. It's like 20. There's 20, but also that counts for 4 Bowser Castles, so not really. Peach Circuit's shit. GBA Luigi Circuit's a good one, but we have Double Dash Luigi Circuit, which I think is better personally. GT, I'm just missing Mario Circuit and Bowser Castle. Again, you're kind of just missing circuits of Bowser Castles for a lot of them. Broken Pier's not there because Boo Lake and Banshee Boardwalk and Lakeside Park. Although I think I could stand up for Lakeside Park with the volcano gimmick. I feel there's just better picks to have over it. SAS Cooper Beach, that clash with Cooper Trooper Beach. Ghost Ride clash with the Boardwalk tracks again. Luigi Raceway, I don't mind it, but again, there's better Luigi Circuit tracks to take. So that about covers it all. I'll move on to the battle tracks. Now, originally I had the idea to just go and order a game, because there's 8 slots and an end with a new one, which is Nintendo Switch. A callback to the fact they did like a battle track where you're battling on a GameCube and one where you're battling on a DS. You could do that with like the handheld Switch. I think that'd be really cool. But then I realised, well, SNES battle courses, they don't really change. They like change where the blocks are. It doesn't really matter. And same for GBA battle courses. They were quite similar. But yeah, we figured it out. I figured it out. I think we go next year, of course. And we're kind of going in order in which they'd be added in game by game. And we would do one per wave, except for the end of year ones where you throw in a bonus one, I guess. That's how I do it, probably. But yeah, so the N64 one, I think Double Deck is the one that hasn't been remade and is probably most standout one outside of Block 4, obviously. I mean, it's solid. And we've got GBA Battle Course 2, and I picked that one because it's kind of like Bowser's Castle, GBA Bowser's Castle theme, and we don't have that as a regular track. And also that makes it by far the most standout battle course, because it doesn't feel like too generic. So I feel like you could throw that one in if you want a GBA rap. Then you have GCN Pipe Plaza. I know it's been remade for DS, but it is probably like one of the fan favorite ones besides Block 4. But speaking of, we also throw in Block 4 this wave as like a bonus track, which is just another N64 track. I know it's been remade, but you've got to have Block 4. You know, it's such a perfect track. I know they've made like Block Plaza and they made another one like GCN and Wii. They have their own Block ones. But they both suck compared to the original Block 4. So you might as well just have regular Block 4 and pick other stuff, in my opinion. Then you're going on to DS. Got Twilight House. That's one that's already in Tour. And Tour's Battle has like a New York Minute battle course. I don't think that any of that stuff should be added. I know people when they go, well, when you have a battle course pass, then we should add like city ones. Like, no, because then you're doing the Wii U thing where you just turn regular tracks into battle courses and no one wants that. So yeah, Twilight House is in Tour and it's the most standout DS one remake. Even though it has been, it's the one that hasn't remade before, but like the other ones are like the DS one, which just doesn't make sense to have that. I wish we got a Switch one here. And the Tart one, I can't remember its name. I'm sorry. Which is a really cool one. However, we have like the Sweet Sweet Kingdom theme. So it wouldn't really sound the same for why Showbring I didn't pick. I picked Honeybee High / Honeybee House over it. Which again is a house, like Twilight House, but it's a standout theme. And I still think they're different enough. Also, we got like Moe's like Renegade Roundup, and I feel like certain battle courses they would not work for, which is why I chose Delfino Pier. I think we could. I mean, there's a lot you can do in remake. I think because you can have like the wall won't like kill you. Obviously, it would you just go in the wall, which might upset a lot of people, but I feel it's kind of necessary for like how it like stuff like Renegade Roundup. Because Wii does a lot of unique things. It has a great battle track section. It's just a shame the battle mode itself sucks. It has a great section. It's 10 battle tracks, 5 new ones, 5 old ones. Like that's a perfect battle track like selection. Like it's fantastic. But a lot of them you can't really remake, oddly enough, just because how they tie into like specifically how Wii's works. Whereas team only, it's just team building and battle. That's kind of it. So yeah, that's why I think Delfino Pier is the only one that you can really remake and make sound out. Also, like I guess like From Desert and like the Roulette one, those two could kind of work. But still, like Funky Stadium doesn't really work because you start on the platform things. I don't know. It's hard to explain. I suppose you could, but I feel like Delfino was the one you could make work without much change. And you end up with a Switch one. You know, just more battle tracks, but we don't need more battle tracks because we can have like a small amount. It's perfectly serviceable. I think we should some more. We only have 3 retro ones after all. I think it's retro more. and I think it'd be great. I know not many people play battle mode, but I think 8 Deluxe did a lot of work. Like, its main thing was, we're improving battle mode, we're giving it an exclusive item, we're giving it 5 different, like, modes, and we're giving it 8 new battle courses. And it's all great, but yeah, I think just some more battle course when there's only 8, it could be some more. And I don't say only 8 just because compared to the racetracks, it's 96. So yeah, big difference there. But yeah, let's move on to Kart's I'd add. Now, if I was going to say, they can also update certain stuff, like the cat crews to give it different colours. But yeah, we'll get into like the specific ones I pick. I think there's some stuff you can alternate. I feel like this is one that's less set in stone, because the reason why I think it's important to have more vehicles is because it's like the battle tracks where it's like you've got enough here, but you can add some more. I mean, because there's a great variety of kart parts in 8 Deluxe, but there's very few like retro ones. There's enough retro like tires and guides because most of them are from 7, but outside of that, like the karts themselves, there's not many that are like from previous entries, and I think you could definitely fix that with some here. So we got Birthday Girl, and this one changes like the Peach Parasol for the princesses. And I think that's cool. I think that's cool. I even on its own, it's a nice sort of pink car. You could probably make it change colours for more of you, I feel, but if Peach Parasol had it work like 7 did, so might as well. You can add it alongside Honey Queen if you want. Although I think this one you don't need to have it match any themes just because of how specific it would be. Just add whatever tires, add whatever carts, add whatever glider, Another 7 one is Cloud 9. I think because you got the Cloud Glider, you've got the Kiyu, you might as well have the Cloud car. And this was like my main. I remember maining it with the mushroom wheels, which are the only wheels outside. I think the red monster wheels that aren't in 8 Deluxe. That we want to add back, but we'll get to that. And there's also Bumblebee, which I guess again ties to Honey Queen now. I think this is one you could change actually. Or you could change Birthday Girl. This one's probably more unique, but this one probably doesn't work for as many characters, obviously. But I don't know. Again, you could kind of throw in whatever. I just chose some of my personal faves, but I could swap them around. I don't really mind. And this was the Egg one. I feel like this one has to get in regardless of if you want more DS carts or not. Kind of the B-Dash guy, and I feel like the Egg one's just as iconic as the B-Dasher. And also there's a lot of potential in having it change colours for Birdo and Yoshi, depending on the colour you pick. And I guess it could extend to Shy Guy. Or other characters. Yeah, you might as well just have it work for other characters and make it exclusive. But yeah, I think there's a lot of potential in this one. Probably should have had it in Wave 4, which was like the sign of like, oh, they're just going to add new characters and not new car parts, which is fine. But there's definitely missed opportunity. When all this is from Tour, I open Tour and I just pick ones to take screenshots of. So yeah. And I'm willing to wrap a Double Dash car. And I feel like the Battle Train's the most iconic one, and it was in 7. So, but I also would probably prefer the Piranha Pipe, and you could make it transform to the Boo Pipe for King Boo specifically. And I guess you could just give it different colours for different characters. I think there's a lot of potential for making this one. Well, it's not as interesting because it's just pipes, but I feel it would be one that would match more characters, I feel. So I think this one would be a good pick, but Battle Train also works. Again, I'm not too particular with my picks here. But yeah. The last one would be the Zoom Broom, which I wouldn't call it Kamek Zoom Broom, I'd just call it Zoom Broom. 8 Deluxe probably. It's just really cool. I'd also add the tires. For sure. I just think the Kamek set's really cool and I just want it in. I just want it in. I guess it doesn't really match many other characters. But if we're adding like a new one that's in Tour, you want to rep one of them, I think the Kamek set is a perfect one to do so. But yeah, let's move on to the bikes. I chose 3 inside drift, 3 outside drift ones. These are all from Wii, that's why I chose no Wii karts, because all the bikes are going to be from Wii, because that's the only other game with bikes. And there's a lot to pick from. You get the Bullet bike as an inside drift one. And this, I guess, also kind of reps the I don't know what it's called, but the Bullet kart that's in Double Dash. So it kind of reps that being in the bike form. You got the Dolphin Dasher, which, you got Dolphin Shoals. It's just a pretty funny bike. And then you got the Bowser bike, more commonly known as the Flame Runner. But yeah, because I have a Donkey Kong, even though it's a Bowser vehicle. But yeah, it's cool. These are inside drift ones. I know people don't do inside drift much in 8 Deluxe, but we have some really cool ones, so I figured I'd represent them. Now for outside drift, we got like the star one for Rosalina. Hey, Rosalina, you can add like Luma by his side, because that's like one thing I do miss from Wii Rosalina. Had a Luma following her, which just isn't around anymore, which is a shame. It doesn't matter too much, but you know, maybe you add that alongside this. And I think just the star theme, I think makes it work with a lot of characters. I don't know. I just like it. There's the Wario bike. It's this iconic bike, you know. And it's more of like a standard bike, so I feel it could work with a lot of other characters as well. So yeah, I'd like to see this. And now I want Waluigi's bike. I know this was a kart in DS. This is actually a DS kart. But it's a bike, and I think you could rework it as a bike. Or just do it as a kart, but you put it in the bike category. Because, I mean, I think we have a freewheel car in 8 Deluxe. It's like the green thing. I don't know. I don't know what it's called, to be honest. But I think that looks like a kart. So I guess it would still look like a kart. But I think it would just be funny to include this one. So, yeah. Again, I'm not too particular about these. So tires, I don't have many specific requests. Firstly, I want the mushroom tires, and that's literally it. You can add the Kamek tires from that car because they're like these like rainbow like colors. I assume there's more in Tour that are like unique to Tour, but because they don't separate tires, they're just attached to the car. I haven't really made note of any, but I'm sure you get plenty. And the one I specifically had, and this is a new one, but the Wiggler egg wheels, get the Wiggler wheels, and there's also a Wiggler, just to get Wiggler, like the full Wiggler combo, just could be funny. And also, have the egg one just change to the Wiggler egg, that might be another idea, for Wiggler specifically, even though it's kind of weird, like a Wiggler egg. I don't know what the idea with that was, but you know. So I don't have any else. I'd have those 3, and you can have whatever else, really. I don't particularly care. So, yeah, moving on to gliders. Firstly, I know it only fits with Waluigi, obviously, but we have the Wario Wing. You might as well have the Waluigi Wing Centaur. Just to have that pair. I think that'd be neat. Especially if you do like the Wario bike and also the Waluigi bike. I think it'd just be nice to have them go hand in hand. So yeah. And you can also call this, I picked really the lightning oil pair because I think this is the coolest one. But there's a lot of like oil paper guys with different patterns on them. Maybe you could include a bunch of them and have them change depending on the colour. So yellow ones have the lightning one or whatever. And there's some that are like specific character ones, so you can do that. I think there's a lot of potential in the oil paper one. Have this just like be like universally fit with every character, be useful in a combo with every character. So I think there's a lot of potential there. If you weren't going to do this thing, I'd probably trade it for the Beast glider, like the orange winged thing that's in 7. Because 7, there's only 2 guys I'm missing, and I thought it'd be repetitive to have both. So I've only chosen to include the Swooper, because all the Swoopers, it's just a cute little guy. I think it's a fun glider. So yeah. And then Titans of Yoshi's Island, the Smiley flower guy. I just think it's such a charming glider idea. I'd love to see it. And again, kind of Yoshi's Island thing, because it's Kamek, you have the Dream Glider. Yes, it would work with Rosalina actually, with the stars, I think. So yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry, I don't have much to say about these, but yeah, Wiggler Parachute, and the full Wiggler combo. This is newly added in the newest update. So yeah, again, you could probably swap some around. I don't particularly mind. I just think more variety, regardless of what they choose, is a good thing. But yeah, with that in mind, the battle tracks, you could increase the price of this one. And yeah, it would really be basically the complete Mario Kart. It'd be insane. And again, this is a very, very unrealistic video. This is not a prediction video by any means. It's just me giving my idea for stuff I do if you guys like Boost Calls Pass. But yeah, it'd probably be wiser not to, just because I love it, don't get me wrong. I feel like logically it'd be wiser not to do Boost Schools Pass 2. Like, yeah, you get a lot of money. You make a lot of money, and is that so they're making the Mario Kart game? And it would be great for the game itself. I'm 100% in support of just supporting one game, one entry for like a decade. Like that's fine. That's fine. If people love the game, if people love the franchise, if people love the game that much, you would want this game to be supported. You wouldn't want to move on to another game. That's how my mind works, Often with franchises when I see another game and it's one that would replace the previous entry, it does upset me a bit, usually. So I was happy to see DLC tracks. I know people just want another Mario Kart, but I don't see the point in that. But it's possible. I think the next console, you definitely do another Mario Kart. However, if you did more DLC, you want to do more DLC for Deluxe, this would be the last entry, I feel. This would be the last entry in the franchise. And I feel like for a franchise like Mario Kart, you shouldn't, for the sake of the future of the franchise, you shouldn't restrict yourself like that. And you could make more Mario Kart games after this, but the thing is, this is like Mario Kart Ultimate. You have basically everything here. You have so much more content in this one already compared to any other Mario Kart game. Already, that alone. It was already praised for having the most content, because it had 48 tracks instead of 32 in it with the Wii U DLC. And that was 96. They doubled that number. That was already the highest track number the franchise had ever seen. It is an obscene amount of content. And that's why I can't wrap my hand on the Boost Schools Pass, but I guess it is possible. Deluxe makes a ton of money. It's a really unique entry in that sense, where it just won't die. I mean, it's been over a decade now since it was revealed. This game's been around for most of my life now, and that's fucking crazy. That is very crazy. If it gets more content, cool, but I think that does put in, when it comes to the future of the franchise, once all that DLC is over, you have a fantastic game. It's already fantastic, right? You don't need more content. But if they did it, then yeah, it would feel like genuine, like the complete package. It already is, but it would literally have basically everything. And that is great, but again, it would cause the problem of, well, no other game can live up to 8 Deluxe. And even in its current state of Boost Schools Pass, I don't think any other Mario Kart will. So even if they don't do another Boost Schools Pass, I don't think there'll be more tracks in this, not for a while. Because 8 Deluxe comes in a really specific scenario where you had the Wii U one. The Wii U one got DLC on its own, right? And then the Wii U didn't do well, so they ported over a lot of Wii U games to Switch because most people didn't try them. And that's 8 Deluxe. 8 Deluxe gave a bunch of updates on its own. And then the Boozles came back with more updates, more characters. It is an insane glow up the game's gotten. It went from just another Mario Kart. Mario Kart 7 was better. I was playing Mario Kart 7, and I was like, that one looks like shit. And now it's undeniably the greatest entry in the franchise. And I don't see that changing because the content it has, and a really specific scenario of just getting that support for that long and just becoming so well sold, I guess, part of the Switch's success, of course. And then also Tour. Tour is why we have the DLC, because I know it's not a lazy asset reuse, but we would not have that many tracks if there weren't assets to reuse. So it really is just a bunch of specific scenarios coming together that has led to this really large game. And if we keep increasing it, then I do think we genuinely the whole meme of Mario Kart 8 more like Mario Kart Infinite. I feel like that will genuinely be the case, Trevor. And I don't think I want that. I think it's a fantastic game. It's my favorite game of all time. But I don't think you should put you should put a chokehold on your franchise like that, because I don't think you can move past that. It's already going to be a tall enough mountain for the next game to climb compared to 8 Deluxe. The only thing that'll make it stand out is oh my god, a new Mario Kart game for the first time in a fucking century. So it's a really tricky one. But yes, if it got announced, then I'd fuck yeah, give me that shit. But I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. I thought it's really fun. A lot of ideas. I had it's a very fun franchise. There's a lot of stuff to take stuff from. Like there's so much. There's so much. And like if I didn't do the new tracks and then like the new tour tracks, the new city track, the new city tracks and the new tracks, like unique themes for this like DLC, there would be like 10. There would be like as soon like the SNES, just old versions, there'd be just 10 tracks missing, which would be insane. And I don't think that's a number. I don't know. I don't feel like that's a number you want, because those 10 people who want those 10 tracks, they're going to be very angry if like those very specific tracks missed out. I don't know. It's an interesting discussion. I think it's possible now. I don't think it's just like some crack through, because but I think people make a lot of dumb arguments about it. Like people say stuff like, well, did you know with the fighter pass from Smash Bros? That is like 6 characters. Like this game has 6 characters as well as 48 tracks, for fuck's sake. Like there is a big difference. It's not a comparable thing, and also they're 2 different dev teams. But yeah, when you think about it, it's like, well, there's still a bunch of tour content that won't be in a Deluxe, despite how much we have gotten, and we've gotten plenty. But yeah, it's something that, like, well, what are the Mario Kart devs going to be working on after this? You know? Because there's not going to be another game until another console comes out. That's for sure. So, it makes you think, well, they actually money on the table. Like, take a break. I mean, obviously, tour's still going. You know, people are still working on tour, because the tour gets continuous updates, and that's cool. I respect that. And yeah, maybe then you do Boost Horse Pass 2. Maybe you have to give it like another year, like give a year break to get some more tour tracks. I don't know. I don't know what they do. I've seen people say they won't do the Boost Horse Pass on the Switch. They'll wait until the next console to port it over again and do DLC again, which that would be kind of annoying. I get when I think about like now, I get why the 10 people bought the Wii U version are kind of mad, because you bought that game, you bought a DLC for it, then you bought a version that had the DLC for free on a different console, and now you're buying DLC for the same game again. I get why that's annoying. And yeah, I think whatever console follows the Switch, it will need to have backwards compatibility anyway. There's very much an interesting discussion about that. I feel like that should be a separate video, but I think I've covered a lot of stuff there. So I feel like I just ramble about that at the end of this one. So I hope you like my concept. It was quite tricky to make, actually, when I was like wow, there really is, like, this really does cover pretty much every track left. But yeah, that is all from me for now. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.